with this video of Paddy Pimblett, the key to victory for him, maybe?
Um, I think he can try if he wants, but
So, hello to Denis Frimpong out of the Manchester top team, and welcome to the podcast on MMA for fans to your German fans. So, yeah, hello, Denis Frimpong.
hey, thanks for having me on. And I didn't realize I had many German fans, but slowly we're building. Hopefully, after next week, I'll have a lot more German fans after I put a good performance on in Germany. So,
Oh yeah, that's a good switch to the next thing. There's Robin Frank, your next opponent. So I want to talk about that. So yeah, maybe it's difficult to have some fans. So because you're facing one of the most respectful and talented guys in Germany. So he's yeah he's 5-0 and he's unbeaten. He's a champion in another organization at the Cage MMA, had a good head kick KO, goes viral through the internet. What do you say about that?
um, yeah. So, like, I'll be honest. Before I signed to fight him, I never heard of him. Like, I'll be honest, like, I'm not like just saying that. Like, I never heard of who he was. Obviously, he might be a big thing in Germany. In the UK, he wasn't really known about. I suppose German fans would have heard about me because of my back and forth a little bit with Hafeni Nafuka, with Hassan Diaz, and a couple other guys. So they probably would have heard of me a little bit, but I had never actually heard of him. So I suppose in the same way that it's my opportunity to get myself known to the German fans, it's also his opportunity to get himself known to the UK fans, and to the Irish fans, and get himself a bit more well known. Um, but yeah, like as you said, he is a bit of a prospect coming out of Germany. I suppose in Germany he might be a bit of a prospect. Um, Undefeated, 5-0, all that kind of business. But yeah, like I've fought tougher opponents than him. I've faced tougher opponents than he's fought, and I just think I'm more skilled, well-rounded, and more experienced than he is in a big organization, in a big arena, in a big show.
So there you think there's your advantage in this fight? Yeah, having the bigger experience on the big stage, having beaten much better opponents that what you said, and yeah, but when it's coming to the ground game, I saw in the network, you're always criticized about your ground game. We have now the video of Paddy Pimblett chokes you out and stuff like that. What do you think about it? Do you expect an early shoot from him? So do you give him with this video of Paddy Pimblett the key to victory for him? Maybe.
Um, I think he can try if he wants, but I think he'll be very sorely mistaken if he tries that. Um, because first of all, people criticize my ground game because of what happened with my fight with George Staines, where obviously he dominated me on the ground, uh, because of the video at Paddy Pimblett. But you have to remember, like these guys, both of these guys train in the same gym. They're a very grappling heavy gym.
Mm.
They have very good grapplers, like the likes of Shem, the likes of
Shamrock.
Paddy,
Mm.
the likes of the likes of George, Adam Cullen, these kind of guys. Um, no one else has been able to do that to me other than George Staines. Obviously Paddy in that gym fight that we had. Paddy's top 15 in the UFC. He's got
High
over
level.
25, he's got over 25 professional fights. Robin Frank has 5 professional fights against, let's just call it what it is, less experienced guys, even records, 8-6, that kind of thing, 2-0, 1-0, not against the level of caliber opponents that I have fought or the level of caliber opponents that Paddy has fought, etc.
Yeah.
So if he thinks that the ground game is where he's going to excel, then I urge him to shoot if he wants. if he wants to go into a grappling exchange, he will get submitted. But I think he fancies himself a striker, and I've been there myself where you get a nice head kick knockout, one that goes a little bit viral that people talk about, that feeling that you get after, like the adrenaline rush, the endorphins that you get from it, and it's addictive. So I think he will be chasing that addiction, and that will be his downfall.
Mm, mm. So I want to stay in for a minute in that corner to for criticize your ground game. I saw that fight recently against Cullen. And I think that was a good ground game from your side. Your takedown defense there in this inverted triangle choke were very nice. So you put that arm out and stand up with him and go back to the stand-up game. Um, that was really good. So I don't know why you were criticized for your ground game. So do you think it's only about the fight against George?
Yeah, I think it's literally just the George fight. And
Mm,
I mean, from what I've seen, since George has fought me, look what he's done to everyone else. You
mm,
know what I mean? Like, look at all his fights. He does that to everyone through
yeah.
amateurs, IMAFs. Like, he did it against Matthew Elliott on the Octagon Challenge show, who's a high level wrestler. He did it against Jakub Tuhota, who,
Mm,
like fought for a title in Octagon, dominated him on the ground. He does it to everyone. He's a brown belt, probably a black belt level in MMA, very good on top. It is what it is. And you have to remember as well, when I fought him, what, November 2023? It was,
23.
yeah, it was like a year and a half ago. I've improved a lot since then. My takedown
Yeah.
defense has improved since then. My scrambling has improved since then. Everything's improved since then. So, I mean, I've even improved since my fight against Callum Mullen, which was last year. So, anything that people are criticizing about me, I've watched my fights more than anyone else has watched my fights. I can guarantee that. I've watched my own fights with a critical mindset. What
Okay.
can I do better? What could I improve? What would I be looking for if I was going to fight me?
Mm.
So for the last year, I've been watching my own fights,
Interesting. Mm.
doing that. So I'm gonna come out as a different version. And Robin Frank's gonna be very surprised when he's in there in the cage in front of me.
That's very interesting when you said you watch your fights with a critical mindset. Um, what is your improvements out of these analytics coming when you watch your fights? What can you expecting from yourself then for the next fight?
So with the level that we're dealing with, right? Because obviously at the start of my amateur career, it was like massive improvements I could make because
Mm.
I was a beginner. At this point where I'm a professional, it's little small nuances. Like it's not like massive gaping holes. Maybe after George, you could say, okay, in the grappling, massive gaping holes. But then it's just small, nuanced little things. Oh, my footwork was a little wrong here. My balance was a bit off when I threw that shot.
Mm.
Even if the guy didn't capitalize on it, I might not have got caught for it, but in my head, I look at it and go, "Ooh, a better guy would have caught me there. A better guy would have capitalized on that." Like, if I made that same mistake against Justin Gaethje, would he have capitalized on it? Yes. Okay, I need to fix that. You know, so that's the mindset I have going into every next fight and every time I watch back a fight. And I'm sure that there will be things I do against Robin Frank after I beat him. I'll be able to look back at the fight and say, "Oh, I could have done that a bit better." Maybe could have finished him earlier. I maybe could have done. And that's how we improve. It's very easy to look back at your fights. When you have a 15-second head kick knockout that went viral and say,
Mm.
"Yeah, I'm amazing. Look how sick my head kick knockout was." But even in that 15-second clip, I saw some mistakes that he made. The guy wasn't good
Okay.
enough to capitalize on. The guy got knocked out. He wouldn't knock me out with that shot. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, we know your striking and your stand-up game is very good and every time on point. So you have a very good distance management there. And when you see the fight against Robin, let's go to your point of view. What do you think? You said you see holes in his game. Do you think, or which holes do you see there? Is there something special? So I know you're not gonna say your game plan now, but is there something where you can say, um, maybe there's a hole
Um,
when you see, especially on that head kick?
like he falls into his shots a lot. That's all I'm gonna say. He
Okay,
falls into his shots.
too
So when
fast.
he throws shots, he falls in. You know,
Mm,
he's not well balanced. Like I said, it's little small nuanced things that like
mm,
unless you're at that level of striking, you won't understand, you know. But I see things in his game, and you know, my coaches and my teammates have all seen things in his game, patterns that he develops. And we all have patterns, but I like to think I'm quite unorthodox as a fighter, as a striker.
mm,
And I like to think that I can see patterns in people when they're not unorthodox. You can tell that he's very well drilled, like he's drilled things very well. But when you drill things too methodically, you know, and I know that's a very German thing, you know, to be like precise and like my
mm,
1-2 has to be perfect. Like, yeah, his 1-2 is perfect, but it's almost too perfect to the point where I can see it coming, you know.
mm.
Um, I think that will be his downfall. He wants everything to be a bit too clean, and I'm going to make things very
Mm.
dirty in there.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. So it's very excited. So we have this evening we had a breakdown with my colleague from Combat Sports Germany, Chris Minne, and he says also he's very excited about this fight and about the big mouth of Denis Frimpong at the press conference. So what can you tell us about that? So is there something big show again this time, or do you want to be a little bit more quiet this time?
Um, you know what? I was going to really go hard on him, but to be honest, he's kind of a quiet guy. Um, you know, it's Ramadan as well, so I'm gonna allow him a little bit, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna completely not try to play on his head a little bit. I do think he speaks English, right? He does speak English,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll have a few things to say depending on, you know, obviously if the media ask the right questions, if he says something, I'll have to respond. Um, but yeah, I'm not gonna go too personal, I don't think. I don't really know much about him. At the end of the day, like I'm gonna leave most of my talking to when we're in the cage and I'm talking to him in the cage. Anyone who's watched any of my last few fights, I do talk to people in the cage while we're in the cage. You know, I'll talk. So he'll get to
Interesting.
hear me in there. He'll get to
Yeah.
hear me in there.
So I had in my career, so amateur career, so nothing professional, but it's not understandable from my point of view. How can anybody talk through a fight to your opponent? So you have to be so focused in there, and you have to be so careful, and you have to be, yeah, you have to be concentrated. And when I was I was fighting, I was hear nothing. Uh, yeah, only my coaches I hear in my corner, but something else. I didn't hear the audience or the crowd, nothing. So, is there something where you can reach your opponent? Did your opponent hear you, or what is there inside with
Oh,
talking to people?
they definitely hear me. Like, you know, especially in the little grappling exchanges. You know, if someone's just holding you on
Hmm.
the fence, not
Scramble.
doing it, not even scrambles, just holding you on the fence, not
Shot
doing anything,
holding. Okay. Hmm.
holding on. You can say, "Oh, what? Did you just come here to hug?" You know, and then they realize,
So,
"Oh shit, I need to
hmm,
let go and do something." And then they
hmm.
start letting go. They start trying to do something. You know what I mean? I'll talk to their coaches, especially if we're in their corner. I'll talk to the coaches. I'll say, "Oh, what? Why is their guy not doing anything?" You know? And yeah, I think in there I have a feeling of lucidity in the cage. You
Hmm.
know, like at the start, like you said, when I was an amateur, I didn't really do it as much. I thought I would, and then it just never happened because you, like you said, you're so like, oh, like everything's happening at once.
Yeah,
When you're more comfortable,
you're nervous. You're nervous when you go onto the
yeah,
mat and you're fighting 3 times, 4 times. You're much nervous as you can be. Yeah.
yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I feel like as I've gotten more comfortable in there, and I practice it in the gym as well, in sparring, I'll practice talking while I'm sparring. So when you practice it while you're sparring, you do it in the fight.
Yeah, very interesting. Okay, do you have something special to say to your opponent before the fight, or is there when you said no, I want to let the cage talk and look what's in there and what
Yeah, I
happened
mean,
inside the cage.
there's no point in saying much to him, as I said, he's a quiet kid. He's he hasn't really replied to anything I've said to him so far. He's blocked me from tagging him on Instagram, so I don't really have really much to say to him. As I said, we're a week away now. There's not really much else to be said. Like we're gonna get in there, we're gonna do the man dance. You
Very
know,
nice, very
he
nice.
he's
Okay,
gonna he's gonna he's gonna shoot on me. He's gonna try
yeah,
and take me down. That's it.
yeah, very very interesting to look where is your ground game is going in that 1.5 year when you said was criticized there. But yeah, let's coming to another thing. We saw all the latest video. It comes a little bit late to Germany. We talked about it off cam. I asked you if I can ask you this question, and you said, "Ah, no, I don't want it." We talk about the video about Paddy Pimblett, the gym fight. Can you expect can you explain the German audience what is happened there in the gym? It was only a gym fight, and he was choking you, and you tapped, and he didn't release you. Is that right?
Yeah, like to summarize it, basically, it was just some online shit that went a bit too far, went back and forth. We end up arranging for him to come to the gym to have a fight. We had a fight. He took my back. He choked me. I was expecting him that like he wouldn't let it go anyway. If I had a knocked him out, I probably would have hit him a few more times until someone pulled me off. It is what it is. We got it sorted, and now it's done and dusted. You know what I mean? But as far as I'm concerned, like I said, that's ancient history. It's months ago. I'm a week away from an actual fight in front of a crowd. Walk out. I've done a camp for. You know what I mean? He's done a camp for. As far as I know, he's been training in America for it.
Hmm.
So, like we're gonna show up and we're gonna do the man dance and that's it. What happened between me and Paddy Pimblett has no bearing on what's gonna happen between me and Robert Frank. He's not Paddy Pimblett, so.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. But is there something special or happened before between you and Paddy? So what's the beef the beef was started in the gym at that fight, or what was happened there
Um,
before?
nah, basically, I think he took some issue with some things that I said on the Octagon Challenge show because he
Mm.
trains with George and Jake. I think that was basically the start of the beef on his end. I didn't think we had any beef, but he obviously did. And then it's just like built up over like a year and a
Nah.
half, obviously, and then just came to a culmination with that. So that was
Ah,
that.
okay. And then it was and loaded on that gym fight. So yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So nothing special. So just a normal day in the gym.
Yeah, just like it was just a spar, we had shin
Yeah,
pads on, we had big gloves on, like,
of course, of course. And I saw Mike Bisping said on his show, these fights are that what you has to have in front of your preparation before a big fight. So that's the opponents where you have to fight and to spar, and there you can improve yourself. Yeah. So
exactly. And I got to do that before I even had this camp. You know what I mean?
mm,
So I got to go and do that against a top 15 UFC guy and then go, okay, now I have my camp. This is the things I'm going to prepare for. Do you know what I mean? This is the
mm.
things I can improve on. So,
Very nice. It's good
I
to
see
have
it as a
these training
positive.
partners, to have these opportunities to invite this high level guys to your gym and to spar with them. That's experience where we didn't have in Germany. So we have good fighters here. So Abus Magomedov in the UFC. We have with the Zavada brothers. Yeah, we have Islam Dulatov who is fighting now, and Lomali Eskiev. Yeah, all these guys. And yeah, but it's I think we are a little bit away from the level from the UK or from America, a little bit
I
from the
agree.
training partners, you know.
I agree.
So
I agree. I think the last big UFC fighter that was in Germany was probably Dennis Seaver, you
yeah, the
know?
most popular. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and like no offense, but look what Conor McGregor did to him. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
mm.
So I do think that Irish and UK MMA is a little bit ahead when it comes to European MMA. Um, and again, I'm just going to prove that on the March the 8th in a week's time. I'm going to show that 5-0 German prospect is going to get beaten off. I don't know. I suppose you could call me 6-2 now. Irish prospect. So
Yeah, let's have a look to this record. I didn't understand it. So you were 2-2 on Octagon. Now you are 4-2 on Topology. So there was a fight on Fight Progress Czech FC2 who was rejected, I think. Can you explain that?
yeah, Tapology took it off because they said it was a
Yeah.
mismatch because he was 0-0 and
Mm.
I was 2-2. I don't know. It is what it is. That's on them. It depends what source you check. Fight Matrix, I'm 5-2. Tapology, I'm 4-2. Sherdog, I'm 4-2. So it's like I
You
don't
can
know.
choose.
Yeah,
Okay.
look at whatever you want. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. Okay. So
as
we
I
take
said,
this forward too. So on Topology, maybe.
record doesn't matter to me anyway. Records are for I'm not Paul van Dyke. You know what I
Mm.
mean? I'm not a DJ, so I don't spin records. I spin people's jaws. So that's it. At the end of the day, when Robin Frank stood in front of me in the cage and I'm punching him in the face, he's not going to be thinking, "Oh, but this guy's record." He's going to be thinking, "This guy's punching me in the face." Doesn't matter what record he is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, back to the German MMA environment. So I think we're on a good way. So we have good fighters now, and we are on a good way to connecting with the MMA world. So we have didn't know if you heard of Max Holzer. That's
I
a
like
very
Max
young
Halter.
prospect. Yeah,
I
he's a
like
very
Max
good
Halter.
fighter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like Max. I like Max. He's funny. He has some character. He's got good skills. Um, he actually knows how to sell himself a little bit. He's not
Mhm.
just like this boring guy, so does some nice walkouts. Yeah, me and Max get on. We talk a little bit. I think he's a fan of mine. I'm a fan of his. So I'd like to train with him at some stage if he'd have me.
Yeah, very nice. Good guy. So he understands the game, how it works, and I think to promote yourself, it's a part of the game today. So it's more important than ever, I think. So McGregor showed it to the world how far you can bring it on this stage when you know the game and you know to promote yourself. Yeah, it's important. So yeah, we are on the end of this interview. But one last question. What flag is this behind you?
It's not a flag. It's just a little banner.
It's
It's
a
just like
banner.
a.
Okay.
It's a bit of art. It's just a bit of artwork, isn't it? Like it's just like
Okay, it's artwork. It's very nice.
yeah, it's
What
just
is it?
artwork.
Is it something what is something special meaning
I
to
don't
you?
know. It's
No?
just
No?
no. It's just
Oh, okay. It's from
just
your wife said it. Come on.
I mean, it is my wife's. So
Yeah,
my
yeah.
wife's the one that bought it. So I don't know.
Okay.
You'd
I
have
think it
to
has
ask her.
something spiritual on it, so yeah, something like that.
I don't know. I think it's just a woman with some leaves or something. I'm not sure.
Okay. So I thought you choose that for a special interview background. So
No, that's just there.
okay, lad.
Nice enough.
Thanks for having us, and
Nice and for having me.
see you next week. And yeah, the press conference. We
Yeah.
see you in the cage Saturday against Robin Frank. Yeah, Robin Frank against Denis Frimpong, one of the best fights from this card, I think, and one of the most expected fights in German MMA. So yeah, let's have a good show there, and maybe we see us on the post-fight interviews if
Yeah.
you would like to have one. And
Absolutely.
have a good time, have a good loading, and yeah, have a good travel to
Yeah.
Germany.
Thanks a
See you next
million.
week.
Thanks a million, Manuel. Thanks for having me. Yeah. Tschüss.
Ja, tschüss. Genau. Das war Denis Frimpong aus dem Manchester Top Team und ihr seht ihn am Samstag bei Oktagon 68 in Stuttgart in der Hans-Martin-Schleyer-Halle. Leute, holt euch Tickets. Die letzten Tickets sind noch verfügbar. Wir verlinken euch den Link unter dieses Video. Und natürlich lasst gerne ein Like da, wenn euch dieses Interview gefallen hat. Lasst auch gerne Kommentare da, ja, welche Gäste ihr gerne sehen würdet auf dem Kanal. Und schaut euch natürlich den Breakdown an zur kompletten Octagon 68 Stuttgart Card mit Combat Sports Germany. Und natürlich auch liken, teilen und abonniert den Kanal. Das war's von uns, Leute. Wir sehen uns wieder in Stuttgart. Sagt gerne Hallo, wenn ihr uns seht. Und ja, dann wünschen wir euch eine geile Veranstaltung und bis dann.